Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third innings. My name is Maxwell Charlesworth, and alongside me, as always, is my co-host and good friend, Prasuk Jain. So, Prasuk, we're pretty sore today, aren't we?
Definitely.
Second net session of the year.
Yep.
Cold, mid-March day, 8 degrees, bit of clouds around. Nice sun in the morning, though.
Sun in the morning, yeah, I was looking forward to it, and then once we reached there, it was all clouds. I was hoping it doesn't rain. Got hit by a ball as well.
Yeah, how'd your session go? How are you feeling for the upcoming season?
I'm feeling for the upcoming season is pretty positive with the fact that we already started a month and a half ago, but for tomorrow, and my body is very sore. My body's crying right now. How about yourself?
Oh, same old. A couple half trackers, jumping out the way. Good exercise though. Yeah. It's main point of cricket is the
By
exercise.
the way, I started bowling with a long run up today.
Ah, that is true.
And that's the reason my knees are more sore.
Yeah. That's
Watch out, all the batsmen this season.
For all those listeners out there in the third division of the Dutch Cricket League. Well, we have a lot of news to get through, so we can't dawdle on our own achievements for too long. There was a pretty cracking T20 series going on between India and England, obviously following that not so much of a cracker of a test series, but still good cricket on. 3-2 to India, the final scoreline. Just finished watching the match review. Can you tell me maybe what was one of your favourite moments from the series?
It has to be Sky. It has to be Sky's first ball in international cricket, hitting it in the sky, ramping / pulling Jofra Archer 145 kilometers per hour for a six behind square. That's unreal.
Yeah, one of those calypso pulls. Just first ball. Just, if you, dear listener, close your eyes and imagine this. Jofra Archer trundling in, bangs the ball in, doesn't bang it in, sorry, gently releases it onto a good length. It pops up to Suryakumar Yadav. His reflexes are that quick that he leans back on his back foot, lifts his left foot in the air, and just semi-pull hooks him behind square.
Moves a bit to the offside as well. He has enough time to move to the off stump and then wait for the ball and then bend a bit and then comfortably pull it. First ball in international cricket.
But for someone to have enough time against Jofra Archer, that's impressive.
Yeah. What was your favourite moment for this series?
One was an Englishman. It will be Jordan's catch. Well, what will go down as Jason Roy's catch, but Jordan's catch on the boundary in this final T20. Running back with the flight, catches it one-handed. Running along the rope. He probably could have kept it as his own catch, but that would have required a very quick shift in direction to the left. Instead, he palms it off to Jason Roy, who is standing there, eyes open, hands open, mouth open with laughter. Catches it, has a chuckle, and at that point, England were back in the game.
And probably told Jordan, just look at the scorecard, mate. It's my catch.
Exactly. Jug's on you today, mate. Yeah. Well, those are two very good moments. However, those individual moments maybe didn't define a game or didn't define the series. What do you think was one of the performances that really defined a game or part of the series?
It has to be from today. It has to be a certain Bhuvaneshwar Kumar bowling performance today in a high-scoring game. More than 400 runs were scored in the game. And coming back with figures of 2 for 15 in 4 overs, bowling in the death, bowling in the power play as well, and picking up probably the two most crucial wickets, and having that wicket of Butler at the exact right time, because England were cruising at that moment of time, and having that wicket turned the game around. It has to be my best performance.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
For me, it would be Jofra Archer's 4 for 23 in the first T20. He got KR Rahul out for a duck, I believe.
There were a lot of ducks there.
So he got him out for a duck and then ripped through the lower middle order. So that Hardik Pandya kind of area of the Indian team. I don't think it would have been a 2-2 showdown in the final game if England lost that first game. I think England had to win that first game. Even though they are a really good white ball side, it's one of those series pressure dynamics. And India, we've seen time and time again that they can win under those pressure dynamics. Whereas with England, I think there's still some question marks over that. So I think it was really important they won that first T20.
True, especially with the first couple of games we had crowd as well, and there was that home advantage with India, and the way England has bowled in the power play in the all four games, barring today's game, it was incredible.
Yeah, true. Funny that you mentioned the crowd there, the crowd not being there for the latter half. So they were there when England won that first test, and in the test series, at the end of the test series, I believe it was Ravi Shastri or Virat Kohli. It was either one of them who explained how much the crowd being there in the later test lifted their performance because there was no crowds in the first test of the series. So it's interesting that now kind of the other dynamic happened, but it shows improvement. It shows a side that's willing to improve even when they're winning, finding ways to make them win even more.
Exactly.
Yeah, but as always, nothing's perfect in paradise. Even if that paradise is the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Do you have anything you would change in the Indian side?
I think India's top order needs a bit of clarification on the batting order and the combination of the skills, because now they have recently changed the opening order, and Kohli has said that he's plans to open even in the IPL, and it gives the top of the order a bit more stability than that. I mean, well, Rahul had a lot of ducks, but still, this combination I think works for Kohli's batting as well. And then who comes at 3, who comes at 4? I don't want Pant at 4, especially precisely by the fact that he's a better middle order player, someone who can finish games at 5. And Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav, they both are doing well in their respective roles, so maybe one of them goes at 3, but it's not clear yet. And these 5 games were not enough, and India is not playing any more T20s. There's nothing planned before the World Cup, apart from IPL, of course. So it's going to be interesting on which combination they go for initially.
Yeah. So just to be clear there, you're not saying that there needs to be a clarification on which players, because the playing group is kind of settled now. It's more the position in which they're batting.
Yeah, if Rahul doesn't open, I don't see Rahul making the side. And if Kohli opens and there's no changing Rohit Sharma with the current form he is in and with what he has done in the past. So in terms of the playing 11, I think it's pretty solid. I think they're going to have 13 or 14 players fixed, out of which they'll play the best 11 based on the day, the pitch conditions. Is it a day-night game? Is it a day game? Depending on all those things. It's more the order, and it's mostly the top order, because middle order is sorted with Hardik Pandya and another all-rounder coming in later. It's more the top 4 which might shuffle a bit. Would you change anything?
Well, on the Indian front, no. So I think by the last T20, and with the inclusion of Jadeja back from injury, I think India will be one of the favourites coming into the World Cup coming up this year. Like you said, Virat Kohli opening makes the most sense, not only in his game plan, but for the team's sake. You can't really leave Virat Kohli out, but what you can do is, well, you don't want to accommodate the team around a player, but when that player is Virat Kohli, there's a bit of room to move, And opening versus batting at number 3, in a lot of situations in T20 cricket, isn't actually that different. One could say pretty much Dawid Malan came out to open today because the score was none for, So oftentimes you might be none for 1 of 2 balls, and then there's no difference, So Virat Kohli has shown today as well that it's not just an experiment; he can do it.
We've seen that a lot in the Test cricket as well. Pujara opens the batting for India pretty much, especially when Shaw is playing.
Yeah, or Agarwal, or recently a little bit of Gill.
Little bit of Gill. Or Rohit Sharma.
Not too much Gill. Another place where there's not too much Gill is in New Zealand, because they don't have any players named Gill. They do have is a game against Bangladesh. It was an ODI game. Happened overnight. Bangladesh skittled cheaply. Perhaps you could tell a little bit more about the numbers.
Well, the pick of the bowlers was Bolt. He picked up 4 for 27 of 8.5 overs. Although it's Bangladesh, but it's still 4 wickets. There were players who didn't pick up any wicket, like Kyle Jamieson. How much did he get sold for in IPL?
28.5 million Serbian dinars. No, I think it's $2 million US, something like that, around the mark.
Interesting. They were chasing 132, and out of which Henry Nichols made a 49 not out. Too bad he couldn't get his 50, but New Zealand won
It's a
by
team game.
It's a team game.
It is a
exactly.
team
Maybe he did on
Virat
purpose.
Kohli.
Yeah, true. He is opening the batting for the team.
Yes, for the team, as he said. It's the best for the team if I open the batting. Yes, sure.
But New Zealand won by 8 wickets. And what do you think about Bangladesh playing one-day internationals?
Well, Bangladesh are always going to play one-day internationals. That might not strictly be true. They could drop off completely and lose their one-day status, but I don't think that's going to happen. What I do find perplexing a little bit is their ranking of 7th in ODIs in the ICC ODI ranking. So they're just below Pakistan at 6, but they are above Sri Lanka and the West Indies. First of all, Sri Lanka is above the West Indies, which I also find shocking, and I think this recent series has shown that that's simply not true. But also, these are the ICC rankings. True. They have David Milan as the number 1 T20 batter in the world, so there's always a hit or miss kind of aspect to it. But yeah, they're not the 7th best team in the world. They would be 9th or maybe even 10th with how Afghanistan is trekking, who are currently sitting there. Speaking of Afghanistan, they had some T20s following their test series against Zimbabwe in the UAE. Once again, give us a little rundown of what happened in the series so far.
Rehmanullah Gurbaz, who averaged 38 with a strike rate of 154, was a standout batsman for Afghanistan. He had a highest score of 87 in the first T20. And for Zimbabwe, it was Ryan Burl, who averaged 40 with a strike rate of a handy 120, with a highest score of 40 as well. And he was pretty handy with the ball as well. He picked up 2 wickets at 21.5 with an economy of 6.14. He bowled 7 overs. And being a 26-year-old and playing less than 30 games in all formats, I think he has a lot in the future.
Yeah, one of the, well, not perhaps the least inexperienced players in the Zimbabwe side, but definitely one of the lesser experienced players. And as you are, I'm excited to see his progression in the future. So Afghanistan clean swept that series 3-0 against Zimbabwe. To me, Zimbabwe seem to have gone slightly backwards since the ODI series against Pakistan in late 2020. So that was in that October-November kind of time. And I was getting really excited about the Zimbabwe team, especially in that last, I believe it was the last ODI. It went down to a super over and they won off the super over. That was an incredible game. I was listening to it while I was at work. It was, I thought, wow, Zimbabwe coming back. But then my hopes have been shattered here in this Afghanistan-Zimbabwe Sunshine Abu Dhabi T20 competition. I believe that's the official name for it. To me, it seems Zimbabwe, the longer the format is, the more competitive they are. And although the results didn't show it in the recent test series, they fought hard against Afghanistan. And Afghanistan and the UAE, while it's not their home conditions, those tracks, I believe, would be more spin conducive than Zimbabwe. And Afghanistan for the second test had Rashid Khan, who went on to take 10 plus wickets, I believe, for the match. And they have a couple nifty spinners as well. They're not, like I said, I believe in the previous show, they're not using just their T20 bowlers. They're using people who are also good first-class bowlers. So that's why you don't see a Mujib or Rahman in the team. But yeah.
Talking about Rashid Khan, I think he broke the record for bowling the most number of overs in a test match.
I believe so.
The previous record was held by Shane Warne, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
And I think he bowled more than 100 overs in this test match.
Yeah,
the last test match. In the second innings, he bowled more than 60 overs. And that's crazy. Can you imagine doing that? Even as a spinner? As a pacer? No.
No, and myself as a spinner neither. Although it feels like that in the net sometimes. At least that's where my shoulders feel. Well, we talked about the Indian men team, and now it's time to talk about the Indian women's team, who are currently hosting South Africa. They hosted them in an ODI series, and they're currently hosting them in a T20 series. Can you tell us a bit about the recently concluded ODI series?
Well, the hosts wouldn't be very happy about the result. They lost 4-1 against South Africa in the ODIs. Although there were some tight games, but still South Africa, I think this is the best South African team they've ever had, and they're very confident as well. And they played very well. And then now we have the T20 series going on, out of which South Africa women already won the first game, which happened today. Was slightly close, but again, South Africa outplayed Indian women and deserved to win.
It was close until about the third or fourth last over.
Yeah.
And then it kind of blew away, needing 2 of the last over, I think it
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
Yeah. What did you think of Lizelle Lee?
Well, she had a high score of 132, which should be regarded as a very high score in women's cricket.
Also the highest for the series as well.
Higher for the series
both
as well.
sides.
Yeah, she apart from that, she also had 250s, and with the strike rate of 86, I think she was the best batswoman in the series by a margin. In the third ODI, I believe it was a third ODI when she scored her third ton, and it's just 11 games that she's shy of playing 100 ODIs for South Africa.
It's an achievement for anyone.
Yeah, exactly, and she's definitely a stalwart of the South African side going into the future.
And similarly, I believe Poonam Raut did something similar.
She also notched up her third ODI ton, but that was in the fourth ODI. The only ODI which India managed to win, I believe. And her career strike rate is 58, but in the series she had a strike rate of 71. And I think she's really reaping the benefits of having a higher strike rate, so she can reach scores of 100 in an ODI game. And yeah, good future for her as well.
Yeah.
But talking about batswomen, what did the bowlers do?
Well, Julam Goswami, she was the pick of the bowlers. Her 4 for 42 being the best of the series from both sides. And I'm going to throw a number at you now, Prasuk. I know that you love these segments. The number 3.5.
Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's economy today?
Close, but it's actually Julam Goswami's economy rate for the entire series. 3.51.
Wow.
Economy rates in women's cricket are normally lower than in men's cricket. However, 3.5, when compared to the other economy rates from the series, most of them were mid fours.
Yeah.
Some of them were low fives kind of area. To be run less than that and over, that's a lot. That's if you were the only bowler for the entire innings, that'd be 50 runs less.
Yeah.
You'd have to chase.
Especially for an opening bowler.
Yeah, exactly. And with her twin, although not by birth or by looks or anything, but by economy rate, her twin, Rajeshwari Gaikwad, also had an economy rate of 3.5. She also took 8 wickets, but at a slightly more expensive 20 runs each.
Nice.
I don't know about you, but I am very much looking forward to these last 2 T20s between the Indian and South African women.
Same here. Are you also looking forward to training tomorrow?
Yes. Just in case the coach is listening.
How would you fare if I asked you to throw a ball 100 meters right now?
For 100 meters?
Yeah.
That's like 5 pitches.
50 meters. Direct hit.
Could I, with a bounce?
Direct hit.
Direct hit?
Yes.
What am I aiming at?
The keeper's hand top of off.
Keeper's hand.
There's a keeper.
How big is the keeper?
Tommy Pasirovsky.
Oh, shit.
He might drop it.
He might, exactly. So what's the point? I'll take option C. I'm going to roll it underarm along the turf.
To help him.
To ensure accuracy.
And to ensure that he catches it.
Or at least stops it.
At least stops it.
Perfect. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Make sure to give us a follow on the socials in the description and stay tuned for our news show, which comes out at the end of each week. Send us any questions you would like answered. You can do that via the YouTube comments down below or via our Instagram DMs at the third innings. My name has been Maxwell Charles, and alongside me, as always, has been Prasuk Jain. It's been a pleasure having your company, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.